Hey all, I just finished a great conversation with Ongena. I loved it so much I had to get out to the trails just to talk about it. I'm Mark Vega, and this is the Run Along After 60 podcast. You might remember Anne's name because this summer she was the last finisher, the DFL, the dead freaking last finisher at the Hardrock 100, one of the hardest 100-mile races in the country. She's over 60, and the way you finish the race is when you literally kiss the rock. It's iconic, that image of her doing that. She is so strong, and it was so great to speak with her. But the reason I got excited is because she runs in Southern California. She runs the same trails I run. She's raced many times my KH races that I've run really just once or twice. But there's something magical about seeing a local runner who's run where you have run, or you've run where they have run, and they finish something really hard over 60. And her spirit is true. She's deliberate. She's happy. She's joyful. And it was just a fantastic conversation. And if you're picking up these vibes and you like that kind of stuff, it feels right to you, I'm glad you're here. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, like the content, turn on the notification bell, and share the content. We'd really love to have you. Okay, I think that's it. I think it's time for Anne Ongena. You ready? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Is with us after Hardrock and after many, many miles. She's 61, I think. I'm 61. But the path that we have each taken on foot on the trails between Anne and myself is very, very, very different. Anne, welcome to the podcast. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here also.
When we saw you kiss the rock, well, we didn't really see you kiss the rock, but when we knew that you were at Hardrock, and famously the last person to officially finish, right? Because there were people after you, but they were too slow. They were too late. You are the official last finisher, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Had you been in that position before? Have you been as they refer to it, the DFL in any other race before?
No, never. And it's one of the things you always say. Maybe other people say that too. I don't want to be the last person finishing. There I was, finishing last.
Finishing last. But you finished, my friend. You finished.
Yeah, correct. Better than too late. Exactly. Yeah. So I still finished within the time limit. I still had 7 minutes over.
7 minutes to spare. You had plenty of time. You had... You had plenty of time.
Yeah. Nope.
How did you start running? I looked at your ultra sign up page because that's where really, if you're in the United States and you do trail runs, long runs, that's really where you can find people's information. It looks like you're maybe about 45, at least that's what ultra sign up says. How old were you when you started running long distances?
Yeah, that's probably about the age. Yeah. I started in my early 40s. I can't recall exact age, but I think the first trail race I signed up for was local here on the trails, shorter. And then my first 50K, first ultra, I believe it was Holcomb Valley. And that was probably 13 or 14 or something.
No. I'm scrolling now because you have a lot of races. So I'm looking on the side. I'm scrolling. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So Ray Miller, you did the 50 miler. No, you did the 50. Yeah, you did the 50-mile race in 2012. Ray Miller, does that sound right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I did that too. I can't remember. But yeah, that's about it. Probably maybe that was my first. I thought I did a 50K first, but maybe it was a 50 miler.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15. No, you did a lot of shorter races. What started you out? Why did you start running on the trails?
I like being on the trails. I like to being in nature. I started running more just to clear my head and to, I moved from Belgium and it was a hard time for me. My sister sent me a podcast that was something called like Couch Potato to 5K. And I started doing that. And it just, after a while, I started really loving it, and then slowly extending that distance. And in the Belgium, it's a podcast originally from Belgium. And at that time they had it. And when you finished that and then you did a 5K, eventually you had benefits from the health insurance. So they did that there. And so I thought I had to do a race here also. So, and then through friends, I learned about 5K races here. And I believe that was a Firecracker 5K in Los Angeles. And that's what I did. But I actually liked more being on trail. So, but anyway, so that's how I started. And then the next year I did the 10K. And then from there, I moved on to half marathon eventually, and then a marathon. And then I figured out there were races longer than that. And yeah, it just went step by step without no plan ahead of time. No. I just enjoyed just doing it. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
No. I think I'm looking at this now. Look at the 18K, 30K, 18K, 15, 17, 15, 30K, 22. Look, you're just getting bigger and bigger. 33 miles in Big Bear Lake. More and more and more. Then here, February 2012, 50 miler, Ray Miller, it says. And then I don't know what happened. And tell me, like in February 2020, like I'm ready, 50 miler, no problem. But then look, 2 months later, you're like, oh, I'm going to do another one. You do Leona Divide 50 miler.
Yes, yeah.
Then couple months after that, I'll do a 50K just to keep my bones ready to go, because then a couple months more, Santa Barbara, another 50 miler. So this was within a short period of time. You are, within a short period of time, you're doing 50-mile races. Do you like that distance? Now, this was a long time ago. This was 2012, so it was a while ago. But did you settle into a distance that you liked? And
yeah, I like that because at that time, I also knew about 100 milers, but I said, never I will do a 100 miler because then I have to leave my sleep at night, and I like sleeping. And the 50 miler is something you start early in the day, and then by the time it's night, you're finished. So I did like that. And then the 50K was a distance that I also liked because then you could run a little faster. And then I did some marathons in between too. That's probably not an ultra sign up. I didn't do a whole lot, but I did a couple. And I like doing that because that felt suddenly done so fast, because on trail, you're automatically a little slower.
So, yeah. So when you're on the run, when you're on the streets, though, it is faster. But even let me just pull one up randomly here. You did Leona Divide. You did the 50-mile race at Leona Divide a couple of times, right? That's one of your local kind of races, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's possible. Well, not local, but kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, check this out. This is just beautiful. And I think when I looked at, if you don't mind, and when we have the opportunity, we don't know each other. Nobody knows. We only know what we tell the world about ourselves publicly, right? But the great thing about Ultra Sign Up is that, well, there they are, right? So this one right here in 2014, I missed the other one, and this is before this Kodiak, but I saw this Leona Divide, and I'm like, oh, okay, look at that. At 49, she's pretty good. But this, I'm confused. 10 hours?
I guess.
At 49, you did 50 miles in 10 hours.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And you did a bunch of time. So when I saw that, so I recently did my first 50-mile run. Yay! And I was so excited. And it was at Leona.
Oh, great.
But it took me 20 hours. It took me just under 20 hours. So at 48, 49, you're running, twice as fast as I was to get by. And I think I'm just fascinated by it because as we get older, do we slow down? I'm not sure. Now we're looking at 2014. Now speed up till today, Hardrock. And how's your strength and your legs, and is speed still important to you? I mean, do you still train to go fast?
Well, I'm going to do that more because apparently I need a little bit more speed. But yes, I think so. And then strength is important too, especially for mountain races. You need to be strong. And I think even for road races, I think you need to be strong as you're aging just to protect yourself for injuries and just to be able to carry all the load of the running. But I think I need it now more because I was apparently a little slow. I mean, I made it, but if I had maybe a little bit more speed in my legs. But it's tricky because sometimes I do runs that are flatter, like for training, and I feel fast and I feel good and I feel like I'm flying. And then you look on your Strava, you load everything up and like, damn, that was slow. So there's that. But I do think we need to still train the speed. Yes, I do think so. Because I feel like the last 2 years I've definitely gotten slower and slower and slower. I think I don't train speed enough. And I have to be honest, I started already my training, even though I have no races for next year lined up yet. I hope to get into Western States one day, and I have quite some points. So that would be great if next year that would happen, or the year following. But that's a 30-hour cutoff, and you definitely need a little bit more speed in the legs there. So I did start my training, and what I did in the past and I'm starting to do now, I go back on the treadmill like once a week. And because I hadn't been on the treadmill for a long time, for years, I started with 2 miles, just because it's a complete different way of running. And so the last week,
You got on the treadmill to build up speed?
I do. Yeah, I've done that in the past. So when my times were faster, that's usually when I did like one every week or one every 2 weeks. I can't remember. It probably was a little bit dependent also on the weather because I actually don't like to run on the treadmill. It's so beautiful here. But
Right.
I play these little games. I do a long warm up and then I play these little speed games. Time goes by because I keep an eye on the time. I have my numbers. I feel it's a safe way for me to get faster.
No,
And you have the numbers, so it's not lying to you, right?
no.
I can go onto the track too, and I have friends that have been trying to get me out on the track, but I'm a little scared about it because there's so much peer pressure that I might go too fast and then get
No.
injured, and then I'm done, right? So
No.
That's so smart. Wow.
that's
That's
my
pretty good
thing.
to have that kind of awareness. Like, good for you. Because yes. I did I did get a treadmill. It was during COVID, in the middle of COVID, and I got a good one. I had a cheap one, and I knew I wasn't running, 6-minute miles. I'm like, okay, this is not correct. So I got a good one, and just for the everything I do, I try to do something I haven't done before. So I decided I ran New York, the New York City Marathon in 2022. And I decided that my entire training for New York would be 100% on a treadmill. 100%. Like I'd walk to the grocery store and so I just wanted to see what it was like. And when I got out there, I remembered, how hard the concrete bridges are in New York, right? I was spoiled, boy. I could run on that treadmill, but that's not the terrain, right? So it wasn't about the hills and all that. I was fine with all that. But boy, I babied myself, by having that treadmill. So I got rid of it. But now that you say it, I'm realizing there probably is tremendous value to do a speed workout when
Yeah.
you're isolating just for speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's for me when I'm on the treadmill, I focus also on my cadence. The ideal cadence, they tell you it's like 180 beats per minute or, steps. That's the ideal. Ideally, you go a little faster in your pace.
No.
So I have special music in my ears that I've been using for a long time, and it's cadence based. And I choose only the ones. It's actually also a podcast, and it's only 108 beats per minute
Beats
or
per minute.
more.
Yep.
Yeah. So usually 180 or 101. 81 or up to 185. That's kind of my max. And I focus on my cadence. I focus on my form. And yeah, I do little speed gains. And it's only one part of the training, right? I'm not on it all the time. And because I'm on the machine, I can focus. It's safe environment. And I have the numbers. So every week, and I know that today or whenever my last workout, I did that number. So next time I want to go 1/10 or 2/10 faster. So, and I do little games. So I don't stay in the same speed all the time. And because I haven't been running on the treadmill for years, so now I add a couple hill climbs in it just for the change, because that's my sweet spot. That's what I like. I know I'm a good climber. And yeah, I'm still figuring it out how to do it.
When did you start on the treadmill again? When was that?
4 weeks ago. So
just brand new.
Just started. Just started because I figured I need to work on my speed, and I'm hoping to get one day into Western States. So I thought I'm going to start training for that.
That's perfect. That is so perfect. Perfect. When I look at all the races, you've done more 50Ks and 50 milers and other distances, more of those than you have 100 milers. But obviously you've done UTMB a couple of times. You've done a couple of hard, like there's 120 some mile race here. There's a lot of longer runs. So do you like 100 milers? Oh, you did canyons. You did the canyons. Yeah. Talk about 100 milers. How is that?
I like 100 milers too, because it really challenges you. I actually do like being out during the night, even though I thought years ago, before I did it, I would never like it. I do like the solitude and just having that light area from your headlamp, and I feel time passes by differently. So I do like the challenge, but I don't want to do too many. So I think in total I've done 4 UTMBs, and then canyons and Kodiak and
Hardrock.
Hardrock, Monte Rosa, Ultra Monte Rosa, Transmontana. But that was 100K, I think, right?
What about TransRockies? Did you do that 2019?
TransRockies, I've done that 9 times. That's probably not on ultra sign up. I did that 9 times, the 6-day event, which is like 120 miles in 6 days, which I actually stage race. That's a stage race I really like. Yeah.
It's on here only once. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So 9 times.
I did that 9 times. Yeah.
Let's break off to that little tangent. What's is that? I've never done a stage race. How did you decide to do a stage race, and why did you keep coming back?
Yeah, so the first time was a friend that got me into it. We did them together as a team, because originally TransRockies is a team event. I really like that team spirit, because you have to stay together, and you can only go as fast as the slowest of the team, right?
I love it. Yeah.
Because you need to stay together, and it just brings it a different level. It's special. So I didn't do all 9 as a team, because then they changed it so you could run it solo also. But mostly, I think probably 7 times I ran it as a team. I like it because it's so the first day you run, but you have to already think about your recovery for the next day, right? Because you better eat a lot at the aid stations and run smart. Yeah.
Yeah. How many days is TransRockies?
It's
how many days?
6 days. Yes. In the first year, I trained up to 4 consecutive longer runs in my training. But as the years went by and I did TransRockies more, I got really good at it, actually. And the later in the day or in the week, the better I got, the stronger. Usually the last day was my strongest. And I believe even the last time I did TransRockies, my last day of the last time I ever did it was my fastest day because I kept my times in a little notebook. Yeah, and then I ran it with different friends, and a couple of times I ran it with one of my best friends, Kai, and she's younger. She's 9 years younger, a very good runner. She's injured now, and so I don't have my body right now for training. But we did it together a couple of times. Me and we pushed each other, and we did great. I mean, we won our age group. We would get an entry for next year, and it's special. I love it, especially as a team. I'm sad that they don't have it anymore.
I think this was the last year. They just happened and it was the last year.
It was, and it was only the first couple of years they had it as a team event only. And they had to add a solo division. I think they didn't get enough entries with the team. But it's originally from Transalpine that it comes, right, from in the Alps. And they still have it as a team-only event. And it's an 8-day stage race. So
have you done that?
no, so that's
Europe. Okay.
That might be one of the things I want to do still. Yeah, but it's early September, I believe. And so I have to kind of figure out what I do, see what happens. But it's one of the things that I'd like to do. Yeah, we're different, that we can push each other just enough and still have a little bit of fun.
Yeah. Yes. So you did at least 2 of those 20 miles solo, right? Of the TransRockies, right? And so you have 5 days, 120 miles. So you have to
6 days.
Sorry, 6 days. So 6. So you're running, 20 miles a day at least. Is that right?
It's an average, because it's not all the same. So the first day is a little longer, then the second day is a little shorter, but then it's more climb. The third day was a little longer, then the fourth is short again, but then like a big ass climb. But they all have climbs, so it's not
right.
And yeah.
And do you stay at a hotel, or are you in a yurt, or where? How does at each stage? Where do you stay?
Well, TransRockies, they had the tent camp, right? So you camp, and they put up all the tents. So that was all organized, was all done for us. It was really nice. Yeah. So you come in camp, and then you just have to go get your duffel bag that they transport for you, so you can run with just a running pack, right? Like any other race. Yeah. And then it was a great week always. Like my week away. All you think about is get up was the hardest part in the cold in Colorado at 6 a.m. and eat, run, and then shower, eat. I always got a massage there. They had a massage tent you could pay for. Eat, sleep, socialize, sleep. Yeah. So really,
that sounds perfect. What's the hardest day? What's the hardest day in the 6 of the TransRockies?
Yeah. It depends, right? It's for everybody different.
Yeah. Sure, but you're talking about how it's hard to get up. So I'm imagining, okay, is like by day 4, you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
But you're more than halfway there, so I don't know.
Yeah, you get used to it. Then again, also, I would say the hardest day is when it's really cold. And I remember one time we had to get up in the rain, and that was definitely hard. But yeah, everybody does it, right? So everybody just suffer through it.
Right. Yeah, it didn't matter. So, and let's see, 2020, because of COVID, there was all kinds of crazy, issues and races. So Sean O'Brien happened, and you did the 50 miler here in LA, the Sean O'Brien, February 2020. And then
that was before COVID, I guess.
Right before COVID. Yeah, right before COVID. And then Montana de Oro, 36K in Los Osos. And that was the only one you did in 2020. How else did you train in 2020? Yeah. How did you train? What did you do during COVID years?
Well, we have a little group of friends here where I live, and we actually had a great time. We just kept running together. We were just agreed all to. We had our little running bubble, right? So we just kept running together, and then when they closed the trails, I know we still snuck in one time in Point Mugu State Park, and I actually have a very funny story about that because we were the 3 of us in a hot day, just in shorts and running bra, and we had fun. Nobody on trail, and then the helicopter comes over Ventura County. He comes really slow above us. You can see they're watching through their binoculars, and we trying to hide in the bush, which of course didn't work. And then it was hilarious. And I was actually afraid. And so I mean, they're going to get us. They're going to make pictures of us. They're going to put us in the Ventura County Star. My husband going to see the other thing. But that's my wife. And then we were like, it was kind of hilarious. I never knew what they were doing there, but we weren't supposed to be there either.
Right.
We
Yeah.
just,
It's easy. It's funny story now, but I'm sure when it happened, you're out there and like, are you serious? The helicopter is going to come swoop in on it. There's
yeah.
three of us running. Clearly, you're out there running. Like you're not, robbing a bank trying to hide out from something. You've got nothing but.
We had a lot of fun that day, yeah. But that was the last time on trail. The next time we met up at same location on the trailhead, but then we went on the street. We met up on Wendy Trailhead. I don't know if you don't know that, in Newbury Park, and then we ran into Hidden Valley on the road all the way to Westlake and then back, which was of course not so fun, but we thought we were naughty enough, so we were like, okay, no, it's enough.
We've only recently encountered all the great trail running groups and just little groups of people in LA and a little bit of Orange County and in between. And so, yes, and some of those people, a couple of those runners, when they heard what I was doing, they asked if I knew you. And they're like, oh, you've got to talk to her. She's just amazing. And so it was,
Yeah.
talk to me about this a little bit. As we get older, I think, as we get older, it might be a little tricky sometimes to connect with people who are about our same age with the similar kind of interests. When I was a little younger and I rode motorcycles differently, then there was different kind of motorcycle vibe, but it wasn't about the same age. Somehow, as I get older, I really love to connect with people who are about my same, it's about my same thing. And I don't know if it's about pace or attitude or something, but so talk about when did you first discover running communities
Yeah.
and how has your relationship with the running community, whatever that means to you, how has that changed over time?
Yeah.
Well, it started when I started signing up for my first race here, Boney Mountain, and I did a 4K, not the half marathon. I did the short distance. That was my first trail race, or it was 4 miles actually. It was not 4K. It was the short course. And then it's back in the day. That was from the Xterra Trail, so-called trail races, and I had like a series. I think I did another one and then another one, and I believe they had like a training run then first. So you went to that training run, you connect with people. So that was kind of my first little group, and it eventually grew. Yeah, you start to get to know more people. That's kind of, and my best running buddy is actually also, and that was Mal Bukini. We did in May, and we connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah.
Yeah.
You get one friend and another friend. So my running friends, my first ones, they were a little older than me. So that was very inspiring. I always looked up to them. And then the friends I started really training with eventually, they were all about 10 years, 9 years, 10 years younger than me,
Yeah.
which is still the case. I don't really have women my age to run with. Not many. Maybe there's 1 or 2 in my running club, but that's about it. And they're mostly younger, which in a way is good. Keeps me young and keeps me on my toes because they're usually a little faster. So you have to keep up with them. Yeah, it's a little hard as you now in my 60s. I definitely feel it's harder because there's not that many women in their 60s that run still. Even though if they ran earlier in their years, they start struggling with health or they feel it's getting too hard and they transition slowly. A lot of them transition to biking, a little bit more swimming, or they run just for fun and no more races. Yeah, there's not that many. There's definitely a couple, but there's not that many.
Part of why I'm doing this exact thing, Anne, is because I have a sense that, well, while we might not all be 60 yet, there's a ton of people in their 40s and 50s who have been highly competitive. They've been in the ultra space for some time. Now they're, their names everybody knows, but because for the last 15 years, they've been competitive and we know their name. But those people are all in their 50s and they are barreling towards 60. So I have this sense that maybe it'll play out. I'm not sure, but I feel like there's a lot of people who are in their 50s now who have been running and doing ultras for years and years. They're not likely to drastically change their lifestyle just because they're running. So you've been running all this time. So I feel what's happened is there's a lot more Anns just right behind us. I think.
Could be. Yeah.
right behind us, right? So, of course, when you move into the 60th, there's a couple things I don't want to miss. Number one, the only reason I'm pretty confident, certain of this, the only reason I decided that, wow, the trail running community is very different. I did run Bulldog when years ago, a friend of mine was like, oh, you should try trail running. So I ran Bulldog. Okay, that was fine. But it wasn't until I ran one of Kira Henninger's races, Griffith Park, locally, right here by me, ran did a 30K first and then did my first 50K with her races. And it was her vibe, her energy, her race direction, all of the people around her, all the volunteers, best food ever, all that kind of stuff in my mind. And so when I experienced that, that was the first time. This was 2019. And I remember thinking, man, is all trail races like this? Because I really didn't know about a race company. I was just brand new in things. And I think it's all those same people who are connected with all those races and get Cures races and other similar kind of companies. But this is really where I'm at. This is where I live. This is my home. These are my trails. So when I saw all your races, I'm like, oh my God, you've been here this whole time. And
You never see me.
yeah, that's right. Clearly because you're very fast. The talk about aside from community, every woman I speak to now on the podcast or just otherwise, perimenopause and then menopause and then postmenopause. We are finally realizing, because we finally stopped just studying men,
Correct.
right? And I can't believe that this is all just kind of coming together in the last couple decades, really. But okay. A human's hormones are critically important through every stage of their life. And we didn't know as much as we know now, and we're learning more and more and more. So every time I speak with an ultra runner, a woman who's been doing this a long time, I'm curious, how do you see the role that hormones play today? And more importantly than that, here's why you're the sage. Here's why you've been here. You've been doing this a long time. Imagine the women who aren't in their 60s yet, but they're in their 50s. They may just have passed menopause. Maybe they're in the middle of it. Maybe people in their 40s and perimenopause right before. How can you talk to those women as it relates specifically to hormones and continuing to run, continuing to be fit, and with a desire to cover long distances?
Yeah, that's a good question. How to talk to them, right? How to motivate them to, I would say, keep going. Of course, it's all for everybody different, a different process, right? You got 10 women and it's for those 10 women going to be different.
Yes.
I think I was lucky that I didn't really have that much problems. I feel like the whole transition went pretty smooth. I hardly knew I was going through that phase because, as you see, my results were actually pretty good during the whole. Because I mean, perimenopause, I would say for most women it's around 45. Most women hit menopause full on by the time they're 50, 53. And that's kind of average aging, I think, right? That they give you. So I did pretty good the whole time. And
You were crushing it. That period is your strongest period.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, and I did a run before that age, so I don't really know the difference. So I don't really know the difference.
In hindsight, you're like, I don't know.
But I think just being outside and running, that probably saved me a lot of problems, maybe. And I'm also been very conscious about my health, like sleep. I like sleep, and I know we need a lot of sleep. Lucky I don't drink alcohol, or very minimal, a sip here and there, and that's it. Because those are all factors that make the symptoms worse. It's known. I mean, it's not good for you, and especially during that time. And then I'm a pretty healthy eater. And I think those are all things you can do to help yourself. And then, of course, there's, you can take these hormones that will help you through if you need it. I never had it. I never took it. But I know a lot of people will get help from that. And yeah, if you need help, then just take it, right?
Yeah. Especially older women, literally women over 60 who are still running and doing distances, it's been very refreshing for me to hear them say, oh, yes, well, I have to, there's progesterone and estrogen, progesterone, and I have to take both of them. And they figure it out, they dial it in, and it's like, no apologies, no magic, there's no magic and no mystery here. I need this. Just like I need to sleep, just like I need to eat, just like I need strength training. It feels like it's just a part. Gotta do it.
Some women really are benefiting from it. I never had to take it. Like I said, I feel like I'm pretty lucky. And yeah, once you don't have your period anymore, it's kind of easy. I mean, none of the women miss it, I think. I mean, it's a burden.
Right. I think what I was curious about is that I've learned anyway, that you need the hormones, whether the period's happening or not. Most people think, oh, menopause is just no more period, but there's so many other things that are happening in that time, right? And I have spoken to someone who's just turning 70, and she was on this regimen for progesterone and estrogen just because that's part of her training. It's like, no, I'm not gonna, talk about strength. So you talked about treadmill for speed, right? What kind of strength is strength training important to you, and how do you do it? What kind of strength training do you do, if anything?
Yes, I do a lot of strength training. And I've been doing that consistently since I started running. Yeah. So that was just a couple years after we moved here from Belgium. And then that time they opened, because I always wanted to go to the gym, or I was always scared to go because I thought it was so intimidating for me, these transitional gyms. And we moved here, and then in those beginning years, we lived in a community, and they built a very nice, smaller YMCA. And it was next to the school. And then one day I was very brave, went in there and checked it out, and then I became a member there. And that was like a soft, safe environment for me to start strength training, first classes, and then you start, experimenting a little bit here and there. And that's when I started. And fast forward to now, I do since years, a minimum of 3 hours a week. Most times it's more. And I've been training with a trainer now too the last couple of years, because I did feel it was a little extra I needed, because I've been doing it so much, I felt like I was not really progressing more anymore. And with the trainer, that's been really fun. So I do it once every 2 weeks just for the cost of it. I mean, if I would be able to afford it, I would do it every time, or at least once a week. But once every 2 weeks works great, because I know what to do. Otherwise, I'm very motivated to do my strength training. And
are you at a gym? Do you go to a facility to work out at a gym? Okay.
Yeah, so I have a gym membership, but I also have a little gym at the house since COVID, like everybody. But it's harder for me to do at home. At home, I feel less motivated. You start thinking about your laundry, or you're alone by yourself. I even have a Peloton bike, and I have the app, and then sometimes I do class, and I love it. But when I drive to the gym, I go there and I'm focused. I'm in the gym and I'm working, and you have all the other people. You build up a little community. Now that I've been going to the same gym for so long, I have friends there, right? And it motivates you to go. Like, oh, I have to go and then you know who's going to be there. And it's a social thing for me also. Yeah. Because as a runner, you're by yourself a lot, right? You run a lot by yourself. Yeah. And so for me, it's also the social interaction. And
yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm running out of time here. I've got to really, with my strength training, I'm running out of time, because I love to run. I love the training. I love all of it. And I have the accoutrement in my house. I have a medicine ball and the kettlebells and the chin-up bars and the bands. I have these things, and I have the balls and the balancing boards and this. So I have, they're not like they're toys, but sometimes when I look at all the crap I bought, I'm like, oh, come on. Just using them is key, right? And I'm pretty disciplined about so many things, but boy, getting in the discipline that I need for strength training is something different. So I've got to figure it out. Did go to a trainer for a while, and I like that. Anyway, I know there's no excuses. There's no, if I'm going to be chasing cutoffs, it's only because I'm pretty sure I'm not strength training enough. Well, almost certain.
But the fact that I was still running upright, chasing my cutoff at Hardrock was thanks to my strength training.
Right.
Because look at my form. There's nothing wrong with my form at the end, right? And I'm like, look at that. It's just that is because of the strength training. Who else? Otherwise, you would never be able to push it like that for 48 hours. Because it's not that I was dilly dallying, and
Look at that. Look at you. They're like, what? Look, your feet off the ground. You are. Look at that. This is the best shot of ever from. That's just beautiful. Look at that. You're looking up at this.
Yeah, I didn't know the time. I didn't know the time. That was it. I had no idea if I made it or not. Yeah, my friend never told me the time. So, and I thought I was only seconds. And when I finished, I was like, I'd better look at the time if I actually made it. Because, people still cheer, right? Even if people don't really made it. So my friend never, and when I asked her about time, and she was like, you don't worry about that. Just keep going. You don't need to worry about that. You're good. Keep going. And so that's why I had to look at the clock, because I didn't know. Yeah.
She was right. Look how strong you are coming in. Now, of course, it's a finish line. You don't know what your time is, but you look so good. And then this clearly is after it's been confirmed you've finished, because you have the medal on. And just at what moment do you realize you finished? Was it after this? So at this moment, you're looking at the clock, right?
Yeah, that's when I realized that I made it. Yeah, because I think in the little film, the YouTube, you can see I kind of put my hands up like, yay. Yeah. Because I didn't know if I made it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was quite something. Finishing the last person is definitely not what you want to do, right? I don't know if you said it before, but I've said it many times, like, as long as I don't finish the last person, I don't care how slow I go, as long as I'm not the last person. And there I was.
I'm not sure, Ann. I'm going to challenge that. I know I just met you and you're amazing. And I got to tell you, it is almost impossible to strategize in such a way that you capture the DFL. It's very, very hard. Like, people train to get on the podium, but you can't really train to be the last person. So
you can wait in the corner. You wait in the corner.
I guess you could. I'm just waiting there for watching the clock.
Until it's time.
I guess you could. But I don't know. I think it's a badge of honor. Clearly, and I don't know if it's about age. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. But every time there's the last person, right, there's some level of being celebrated. But I think, you wear it well at 61. And so it's not just that, oh, look at this woman finished this race and she was the last person, right? You represent all those people who are over 60 doing hard things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Keep doing the hard things. Keep wiggling. Keep pushing it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a relationship with the concept of age groups as you sign up for races? And I only ask because, after you're 59 for a long time, and then you're 60, and all of a sudden, there's a possibility that you're going to be running faster at 60 than the 64-year-olds or 69-year-olds or whatever the age group is. So as you've grown over time and as you race, were you aware of the age group shift from 59 to 60? And actually, were you aware at 49 to 50 and then 59 to 60?
Absolutely. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to turn 50, and I couldn't wait to turn 60. I was like, I'm finally turning 60. It's like when people ask you what's your age, like, and you're 59, and then you say I'm almost 60. It's like the little kids. A 5-year-old will say I'm almost 6, right? So that was me. I'm almost 60. I couldn't wait. I've been doing pretty good in my age group, even though my times are not always that fast. Like UTMB, I ran it 4 times. I had 3 podium finishes in the age groups. So my first UTMB in 15, I think I was 3rd. And back then it really got celebrated still. The second time was my fastest UTMB, but then I think I only got up to 7th. And then my last two UTMBs, I was first in my age group. And even though I was not super fast, but apparently I was the fastest of the 60 plus one. So you just have to start and then finish, you know, and then that's the good thing about aging, because there's not that many anymore. Just start and finish, and you might win your age group.
It's beautiful and it's fascinating. And unfortunately, on Ultra Sign Up, you can't see.
You can see that.
You can't see it. And so Ultra Sign Up, it says age 60, 45, 14, 06. Like, that's insane. You're so fast. It's amazing.
The last time was my slowest. Yeah. It wasn't executed well. I didn't train well enough. I didn't have my usually training buddy, because she's injured. So we didn't go to the mountains as usual. Then they closed the mountains because of fires. And then UTMB, my whole family went with me. So I had all the grandkids there, my kids, and then even cousins from Belgium. So we had always 6 toddlers under 6 in one house. So it was quite busy. It was always toddler drama.
Wow.
So I think that tired me out a little bit the week before, you know. But then during the race, it was really fun because the kids were cheering and then they were crying that grandma just keeps running, you know, she doesn't even stop.
Right. Where is grandma?
Right. So, but that was fun. Yeah. And what else? What happened? Oh, yeah. In the end, I kind of fell. I kind of lost a little bit of my balance, and I never had that before. So I think that's also an aging thing. I think it was my last climb in UTMB, and you're very tired, and I stopped for a second, and I just fall standing still. And I fall on a sharp rock with my quad. And you can still see the dent in it. It was very painful. So I kind of had to stumble the last 6 miles, which is mostly downhill. And
right.
That was a little bit of a challenge.
August 2024, 45 hours. Oh, wait a minute. Did you just say you still have a dent in your quad from that?
Yeah, you can still see it, a little dent in there. So I think I had a little tear. I never really had a
little. You must have smashed it. It's a long time with more than a year.
I never had it looked at. I mean, the pain went away, you know. But you can still see it. Yeah, it's my souvenir.
Okay. So for all but you don't have you don't have a broken hip. As far as you know right now, there's no broken hip or no legs or no bones are broken or there's no foot. You're okay so far.
So far, so good. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
In 2017, I did have a stress fracture in my hip from too much. I think I started working as a hiking guide the year before, and I didn't count my hiking miles towards my training. So I think I just did too much.
Excuse me. What? What do you mean you didn't count your hiking miles toward your training?
Back then, right? Yeah. So, you know, if you keep track of your training a little bit, I like to keep track of my total mileage per week.
Of course, yes.
Just a simple thing. But I started hiking as a job, and I didn't really count that towards my training. So that was a separate thing because it's only hiking, you know, but that was a mistake. And then probably also maybe some menopause thing, you know, because we're talking 2017. So my body kind of adjusted my whole, actually my nutrition a little bit more, better. And just counting my hiking miles towards my training. That was the biggest adjustment I did. Yeah. So now that's part of it.
So at 54, you do the UTMB in August 2018. That's 42:14:36. That was, I think, your fastest, maybe. Right. So that is in your 54. So, okay. Do you think hormones were aware? You're kind of speaking as though you didn't pay attention or weren't aware that much. Because at 54, fastest ever. Do you remember? You knew you were fast. You knew this was the fastest you've ever run UTMB because you'd run it before.
Yeah, I remember it was my fastest year. But maybe also the weather, because it was a rain year. So we started in the pouring rain, and the rain until we finished, or almost finished. It rained almost continuously. And being from Belgium, I think I was in my element. I don't know. Because that's also a factor, right? I mean, the weather, it's all Yeah.
Yes, there's no doubt. There's
And
no doubt
plus,
about
it
it.
was after my injury. So I had been off running for a year before. So it was my first big comeback race. So yeah, I was probably just well trained also.
Okay.
Because that
Okay.
happens a lot, right? People that are down from injury and then they come back and then they seem to be much better because it seems the body really needs a little bit of a reset.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. And I can proudly say, because of a couple months ago, I ran a race, and guess what? I also got the DFL. So I've already achieved that. I've achieved that accomplishment too. So
We should get a medal for that, right? A special medal, because not everybody gets that.
no, it's rare. It's quite rare. They only award one of those, each race, just like there's only one first place and there's only one DFL.
Yeah.
Right? Only one. Only just one.
Yeah,
That's
there's
one. That's one.
Only one winner and one DFL.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right.
As you keep running, do you think you have to every time you train and ready for a race, do you have to do more physical work to get ready for a race? And let's talk about the races that you're going to do, next week. 2 races in Mammoth. Let's talk about those. And as you get older, do you have to get your physical body ready or your your brain, your mental game? Like, which is most important, and how do you train for each one of them? How do you get them ready?
Well, I think the mental thing, I think I've got it. I think there's something also that comes with age, probably. I don't feel like I trained for that.
Okay.
Maybe one thing is when I run from my house, I live up a hill. And so if I come back so I start with the downhill, but when I finish, whatever I finish, run or even on the bike, the rare occasions, I have to go uphill in the end, always. And all the neighbors watching. So you can't really walk. So maybe that's where my mental training is.
That you said peer pressure. That's what that would be, right? I guess.
Yeah, because you never know who's coming by with the car because everybody knows you. It's like a little over a half mile. I have to go up the hill, and it's pretty steep, and it's a small neighborhood. So I guess maybe that's where my mental training is. And then physical too. Yeah, I think definitely physical more. And the strength training is non-negotiable for sure. And when I feel niggles here and there and I do the right strength exercises, they go away like they dissolve immediately. So that's definitely very important. Running wise, I feel like I should run more, but I can't because we get slower and there's only that much time and then it's a lot of stress on the body. So it's something I'm still trying to figure out how to get better with less miles. Yeah, that's because there's only so much you can do because it's a little sad, right? I used to do like a 20-mile run in the hills and I would be finished easily within 4 hours. Easy. Can't do that anymore. So it takes me longer. So I have to figure that out, how to work with that. I'm just longer on the trail. My husband already knows when I tell him I'm going to be home by 12 or by 1, he knows he has to add at least 1 hour. And then when he says like, "You're late," so I'm sorry, I just so much slower. But yeah, strength.
Yeah.
I feel strength is definitely. I can't just skip on that. It was a little bit a problem with my knee. I had a knee problem with my knee in the race. I wanted to drop out halfway, right in Hardrock. It was really painful. I think it's just because I didn't do strength training the month before because I had been in Colorado early, had been doing the orientation hike. So I was like, I brought my mini bands and I was planning on do some stuff. Never happened. I think it's important we keep doing it even when we travel to races, just do little routines, keep training everything.
So do you, as part of that, do you do reconnaissance whenever you can? Like do you like to go to the races, to the locations where the race happens? You've repeated a lot of races. So clearly, like the Ona Divide, you've gone back many times. So you're Right. But do you try to like Mammoth? Talk about Mammoth. Have you done the Mammoth Lakes before 50 or
Yeah.
the Dragon Ascent? Have you done that
Well,
before?
so I've
Okay.
done the 50K. So it's a fourth year that I put the race on. I did it from the first year. But yeah, no, I go up and I don't know what's coming. I just go with it. Same UTMB. I never did reckon before. I just know it now because I did it. So usually I don't. Yeah, I usually don't. Just go with the flow. Just keep going. And now, of course, I know it. Like Mammoth is my fourth time, and I signed up kind of last minute for the Dragon's Back climb too, a day before, because I figured I'm going to be there and it's just a hike up the mountain, right? I was like, I can as well do that too.
Yeah. How hard can it be?
Yeah, how hard can that be, right?
How hard can it be? So what is the Dragon? Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how
That's
far it is.
it's
The Dragon.
2.7, 2.7. So basically, you just climb up the Dragon's Back. Well, they call it it's the backside of Mammoth Mountain. So you go to the peak, the highest point. And it's also part of the 50K. So you do it in the 50K, and you also do it if you do the 28K, you do that too. So then you get to do it 3 times.
So the Dragon Ascent is the day before on the 19th, and then the 50K is on the 20th. Are you saying you're going to get there a day before and you're going to do a training run up there too? Or what did you mean?
No,
Like
I'll
there's
probably
a camp? Oh, there's a camp?
drive up Thursday, and then I do that Dragon's Back Friday morning. No, I won't go ahead of time. Otherwise, I will definitely feel the altitude, but I never go early. I only went early with Hardrock because I knew I had to. It was too extreme.
Right.
I was too extreme. Right. I'm usually pretty okay with it. I mean, nobody can breathe, right? When you're high up like that.
Right. I feel occasionally like Tahoe 200 recently, there's some pollen in the air. So it depends on the year and where you're at. Like there can be some, for me, the being able to have air is and breathable air without, you know, the pollen, without any particulates is one thing. But yes, you have to just acclimate. You're going to be in altitude. It's altitude. You got to figure that out. I've never run a race though, like at Leadville. I've never run at 9,000 feet or 10,000
It's
feet.
10,000. And then they go over Hope Pass because TransRockies does the same route. So when I did TransRockies, we do most of it. So we go over Hope Pass also, which is 12 and a half. Now you feel it, but I'm okay with it. I mean, you feel it and it's hard and your legs are heavy and you can't breathe, but I get sick.
Right. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to kill you.
So far, it didn't kill me. We never know.
Never know. Now, as I do think sometimes I think, wow, how many different Thanksgivings am I going to have? How many New Year's am I going to have? Right. I'm grateful to be where I am, who I am, when I am, all those things. And I think that's why I pick my races for experiences, not just to go a longer distance, but I want to do something different. Right. And so I just started in a way. So I don't know that I'll be going back to.
Same.
But what makes you go back to the same races?
Well, as you can see, years ago, I did more the local races and I went back to the same ones, but I still have my entire family home. So I have 5 children. They're all in age pretty close. The oldest and the youngest is only 7.5 years in between. So they're all very close. So I had still a busy household, even though the kids were growing up and were more independent. So I didn't go too far from home. Like TransRockies was for me a whole trip. And then actually some of my kids went with me and volunteered. So that was really fun. And now that they're out of the house, then I start to I like to go explore a little bit more. But I also like to go to the same ones because it's easy. Because you know what's coming, you know, organizational wise, you know where to go and when to leave, where you're going to sleep or staying. So that's something I like. So definitely the kids out of the house, more independent myself. So I definitely want to more explore new places too. But I also like still going to the same places. And then Europe, I usually try to combine it with family visits because I still have my entire family in Belgium. So I don't really feel guilty about my carbon footprint traveling to Europe because I
Right.
need to do it anyways, right? And so I'm there and I combine it. And I feel home in the Alps because it's kind of where we went on vacation when we were young. So it's kind of still where I grew up, right? Yeah.
Will you go back to the UTMB whenever you can? What do you think about that?
I didn't apply for this year because our focus was on Hardrock, and I will see what happens with the lottery this year. Because luckily, UTMB is after the lotteries, so I'll see. Yeah, I definitely want to still go back and try it again. Yeah, see if I can still make it within the cutoff.
Unless they get you out there, we won't know. We got to get you out there to see. What's Crans Montana? The Wildstrubel by UTMB.
Wildstrubel, yeah. So that was
Where's that?
It's also in the Alps. It's a little bit more north of Chamonix, if you would say. It's an area where I had been before when I was young. I remember a ski vacation with school. We went in that area. So a part of it is on the Transalpine Trail, or the Alp, or I don't know how people say it, but very famous, like a long trail. Yeah, it's something that caught my attention, and I did it when they had it the first year. It was fun.
Okay, that was the first year.
It was fun. Yeah, it was the first year, and that summer I did the stage race from Ultra Monte Rosa. Monte Rosa as a stage race, and I even think I did TransRockies that year too. I can't even remember, but yeah, that was all kind of close to each other. I was traveling by myself, and I had actually a great time. And I went to Wildstrubel. I couldn't get my watch charged. Something with my cable was going on. I tried to order one. It never came in time. In Switzerland, it's quite tricky to get mail. So I ran that race without a watch or anything. So that was interesting. So I didn't even know the time. So every time I came in an aid station, I had to ask the time. And then I looked at the time chart they had out there, how I was doing against the cutoffs, right? Or how much time I had left. Yeah, that was interesting.
Wow, was that the only time you didn't have a watch on a run?
Without a watch. Well, yeah, a big race like that. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I did it more back in the day. I can't remember. Yeah.
So I love that you run so many shorter distances because it takes you less than a day. And clearly you're pretty good at that. So you can go back to you can sleep in your own bed almost if it's local, right?
Yeah.
If it's local.
Yeah, I haven't really been doing really local races here anymore because I run the trails. I'm on these trails all the time. And then I feel like also the prices of the races have gone up so much. I'm like, do I really want to pay, to run what I already run? Kind of a little bit more. I'd rather do something new then with that money.
Yes. I feel that. I feel that. I feel like I started so late in the game of it all, and I love it all. But that's why every time I sign up for anything is because there's something I've just never done before. When I did Leona the 50-mile race, which is great. That was the first time I was out there. I did go do a couple of reconnaissance runs there. It was great, but I was very slow. And so I finished after midnight, and it was the first time it was a full moon. Wasn't paying attention to that. But boy, was it amazing out on the Pacific Crest Trail, full moon, and after midnight, no headlamp, nothing. Just because it was so exposed and open, it was like a spiritual experience. And then a couple months later, I saw something advertised that the whole point was to be out there in the full moon under a night run. And so I got to do that. That was really exciting and good. But I'm trying to be really deliberate to not return unless there's some reason.
Okay.
I'm going back to Sean O'Brien because it's local and close, and I'm in training for something else. I'm going back to Leona Divide to do Leona is going to be my first 100-mile race. And I was working at the 92-mile aid station at Lake Hughes at the Leona Divide race just a couple of years ago in 2024. And I was 61, I think, by that time, or 60 by that time. And I was just out there volunteering and happy to do that. And a guy came through, and he was in his 60s, and he was doing the 100-mile race. why it was such a shock to me, and I'm not sure. Shame on me, but yeah, I'm like, dude, how old are you? And he's like, I don't know, 63, 64. And here I am making him a quesadilla. And this dude just looking at me like, gotta go. Okay, boom, 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 boom. And I realized, what am I, Mark? I asked myself,
Yeah.
Mark, what are you doing? Get out there. Like, you're not done yet.
Yeah.
Guy like that's out there, right? So it was really inspiring to me. So that's why I picked Leona as my first 100-mile race. There has to be a reason.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I see. I understand.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so you said, so after the Mammoth, you're going to wait for the lotteries, wait for Western states, wait for the
Yeah.
lotteries in a couple months and just see how it goes?
Yeah, I am signed up for Kodiak though. Kodiak in Big Bear, 100-mile. But so I signed up as a backup plan. We have to sign up so early in these races and I felt like I needed a backup plan if for some reason Hardrock was not going to be successful. Because not even only for me, but the weather, there's been years that I have to cancel the race, right? So that was my only race I had. And I felt like I needed something else on the calendar because I have to keep my qualifiers going, right? If you want to do these big races, every year you need a qualifier. So I signed up as a backup plan. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with that. I'm first going to do.
When is it's not on the list here? When is Kodiak?
Because it's now by UTMB, so it's not on Ultra sign up. It is in October somewhere. I think it's a month after Mammoth. Yeah.
Mammoth?
Yeah, something like that. About a month. I have to look on my calendar myself.
What do you think we should do about that? This is becoming a global sport. Let's transition to that. I love this conversation. You're amazing and you're inspiring, and I feel so good. And I feel like, oh man, I'm going to get out there. She kissed that rock. I'm here. I'm not going away. She's just going to keep showing up, and so am I. That's how I feel. But having said that, the ultra community seems to be growing globally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not just me. It's growing. It's growing. It's growing. So we rely in the United States on ultra sign up, which is just a for-profit kind of entities. The guys like, oh, we should keep track of all these things. And then UTMB is ginormous, big. You maintain your index. And let's talk about how the sport's going to continue moving forward. And do you ever envision a time when there will be some resource where every ultra runner around the world is kind of tracked and we know their races? And in a way, is there a possibility that the ultra sign up concept will be global? Or will UTMB be so giant that everybody has to get an index?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah. Well, I think Ultra Sign Up is already doing a pretty good job. And when you finish your UTMB race, it's going to come on your Ultra Sign Up eventually. Sometimes it takes a couple of weeks, but it comes on there. So we have that. I think that's a really good resource. I know it's not globally, I think, used. But yeah, and UTMB, yeah, it's big business and they have their index and yeah, they're going to work on their own. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Wherever it goes, we're just going with the flow. It's growing, and we have to adjust. We have to adjust. The business have to adjust. The platforms need to adjust. It's with everything, right? Everything is evolving.
That's true.
And
so UTMB. So as race companies, Aravaipa, Destination Trails, UTMB. What do you have a preference? It looks like you've run UTMB races. Right?
I do.
Have you?
Just because I like to go back there in Europe for these races.
And you've run the canyon, so that was UTMB eventually. Have you run a Destination Trails race yet? I'm looking. I don't know. That would be Bigfoot, Tahoe, Bigfoot 200, Tahoe 200, Moab 240.
No, I've done in Europe Ultra Tour Monte Rosa, which is not by UTMB. It's a smaller race. But
I see 100-miler. That looks pretty good. It's 2021.
It's a really hard one. Yeah, it's very hard.
You crushed it. You crushed that race.
A very hard
Look
run.
At this.
I think
Look
it was
at this one.
50 hours or something. I don't know. No?
Right here, right? Is that the one right there?
Ultra Tour Monte Rosa. Yeah, see?
51 hours.
Yeah, the cutoff was, I believe, 60 hours. Yeah, it's a really, it's the level of Hardrock, but it's longer. Because it's not 100 miles. It's like 112. Yeah.
look how they do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
It's the
100.
longest 100
Yeah.
mile race there is. It's 112.
It's like 112, and it's like hard rock, but it's not all that high altitude. It's still high, but not as high. But very technical, very remote areas. Really hard. It's hard to follow the race as a crew. Just you can't get around the mountain that easy. So you're by yourself. Also, there's no pacers, no crew, so you're on your own. Yeah, that's
Wow. So talk about that. Talk about supporting. What's your favorite type of being supported in a race? Crew or drop bags, or it's just yourself, or what's your?
I usually have a
Right.
couple drawbacks, but they're very simple. My friend actually had to laugh with me with Hardrock.
Why?
It's like just a small Ziploc bag with a couple of food items in, like that I like the nutrition I use. And if I'm lucky, I mean, in one of them or some of them is a pair of clean socks, but basically that's about it. I'm very, very, very basic with my drawbacks, and there's not much because there's aid stations, right? We're so spoiled. There's so much goodness in the
Right.
aid
But
stations.
there's
So why would
no extra shoes or
No,
rain jackets or that kind of business, or
no, because
even a UTMB.
you have to carry it with you, right? You carry all that with
Yeah.
you. So you have the mandatory gear, which has to be in your pack from start to finish. So you have that with you. No. And UTMB has one drawback halfway. That's it. And I think one year I put shoes in there, but I didn't even change them. I usually try not even taking my shoes off. If my feet are hurting, I'm not touching anything. But otherwise,
Okay.
I will put on a clean pair of socks maybe once, and that's it. Yeah, I just stay away from it.
So you figured out how to do that pretty well, I suppose. Blisters are not your issue. No blisters.
Not too bad. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but not major. No, I'm lucky. And then, yeah, I'm used to be just by myself. And this hard rock was for me the first time I really had like pacers and crew that really took care of me. Yeah, was not used to that because Europe doesn't do that. You have a crew, but then it's usually only one person that can see you at some spots. But then usually I just have my family with me. They don't know what to do. So I really know. I'm counting on them.
They're just there to take the photos, I guess. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
What about pacers? I guess is that the same story? Like you ever use pacers or no?
So in the Kodiak, I did one of the first years that they put on Kodiak. Yeah, I had 2 times a pacer, two friends. I mean, not for the whole section. So 2 sections with a pacer. That's the only, and then now hard rock. That was it. I never had pacers other than that. And
So you did have a pacer at Hard Rock?
Yes. I had in total actually 4 pacers. And when you're over 60, you're allowed to have a pacer from start to finish. But I only figured that out the week before, so it was too late to organize that. So I had a friend, and then her husband ended up going with me for the section too. And then I had, what else did I have? I already forgot. I had a friend from a friend. It was like the day before, kind of arranged. I never met the girl. We just met up in the aid station, and she can see my number, right? So she knows who I am. She went with me. That was like 3 pacers. Yeah, 3 sections.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to hook up the day before. Like, oh yeah, come on, you can pace me. So you just told her exactly what you wanted her to do or not do, and then she did it.
No, we didn't really know each other. So it was just for the company, for in the night. Yeah. It's not the
Okay.
ideal situation because at that point, my knee started hurting. And then I started telling her, well, I mean, it was hurting really bad. I could hardly go down or up and say, I can't, we're only halfway. I know what's coming. I can't do this anymore. And she didn't know me enough. She didn't know me at all. It's hard for her how to engage in something like that.
Yes.
She didn't know what to say because she didn't know me. So, and I think a mile from that, we got into Uray, which my friends were there, and my friend was going to start pacing me from there. They were there. And I know they had a text message going. They said, maybe you text them. I'm going to drop out because my knee is hurting too bad. So, and that way they know, and they're not so panicky when I come in and I tell them. So they already know. So she did that. And of course, my friends get a text message and they're like, no way. So they were like, no way she's going to drop. So I got there and they were already prepared, like, go sit down, here, food. um, and yeah, they turned it around and I was out at the aid station again, hour. And I never looked back and I never thought of dropping anymore. So, but my friends knew how to handle me, right? They know me and they could do that. And, but someone strange, they don't know you though. So it's hard for them. Like, so I think it's
Or
important.
they were your crew, they were your friends and they were crew. So they did the job, even though one of them was going to go pace you too. They did the job.
They did the job.
They did the job.
They did what they needed to do. Well, the younger woman I had on that pacing section at that point says, "Oh yeah, it's hurting. Maybe she should drop." And you know, she couldn't motivate me or demotivate you because she didn't know me. So I think and I've always been like that for crew and pacers. It needs to be people that really know you through and through, where you train with all the time, where you've been through a lot together, so you know each other. So you can give each other that tough love. You know how far you can push it. You know, you feel confident with that. So I knew that. But then, the day before Hardrock, because everybody knew I wasn't really going to have pacers for a big section, they said, well, there's someone that she wants really to pace, or friend of a friend. I said, okay, it's good for the company then at night, so I'm not by myself, and which was still good. Perfect. I was super happy I had someone, but they can't do what friends or people that know you really well can do for you.
Well, she was very smart to not lean into anything. She wasn't going to be responsible for you to continue or drop. It's not my job, right? So good for her to know. Because can you imagine, like, even there could have been they could have had the best of intentions.
Mm-hmm.
But because they don't know you and you're already so far into the race, your brain is not your brain necessarily.
Okay.
So that person, there's a potential for real disruption that would have been so terrible.
She did that perfect. She did that perfect for not knowing me. She really, and
yeah. And then to have your friends, like people that know you, that said, no, get back out there. So let's talk about this. How about this scenario? So someone's in there, they just turned 60. They're not going to be crushing those age group categories. They're going to start running long distances, but they've kind of been solo, like you. They've kind of been solo. How would you, and let's say they're going to plan a race a couple of months out, so they got time. What would you talk to that person about? What's the important things for them to look at when it comes to finding a crew? Whether it's 2 people or 3 people, just finding a couple of people. What do you look for? What would you talk to them about?
Well, if you can, people that run with you all the time. Definitely. I know you just from on the trails. Crew, some people take family for that. I think they're too close to you. They can't give you the tough love. They love you too much.
Objective.
They love you too much. They're your family. They don't want you to get hurt, or they don't even like seeing you hurt and crying, and because you're crying, right? There's a lot of crying going on. You're miserable. They want you to stop and to go in the car with you and warm and in bed, and
Right.
So you need people, and then also people that have done it, that have done these 100-milers, that know the feeling, that know that it's normal, that you go through all that. Yeah. So people that are experienced and that know you very well, that you train with a lot, that you run with a lot. That's very important, I think. But not everybody has that. So especially as you get older. So I join a running club too, like get a little running community around you. I know there's a lot of clubs around these days, so there's lots of social running going on. I think that's very important too.
To volunteering, like offering that up to help to crew someone, saying I'm available, right?
Mm-hmm.
I even if you haven't run it, I know that now that once I ran a 50-miler, then I was like, oh yeah, I know how that would work. I could help. And I crewed on 100. I was on a 100-mile crew last year at Kettle Moraine, Wisconsin. I think that's in Wisconsin. Yeah. And then I just did one. I crewed for was one of the crew members of a coach, my running coach, and he ran a 100-mile race in Ohio, his fifth or sixth 100. And it really helped to be out there before, even though this is like my second crew effort. The first time I was like, what is this? Second time, I had a little better idea what it was. And somebody said earlier to me, the most important thing about if you're going to run a crew 100-mile race, I said, yeah, what's the most important thing? He said, don't fall asleep. Don't go to sleep.
Of course not. Yeah, absolutely. Don't fall asleep. Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine? So you said that, staying awake is pretty important, or not having to go to sleep is pretty important. You've done a bunch of you've done a lot of hundreds now. So how do you get ready for that? How do you get ready for the nighttime portions? You just train at night, or how do you get ready to deal with being out there for, 24 hours?
I don't really train the nights, no. I will try to get like one run in with a headlamp at least. So no, you just make sure you're rested very well. That's it. You can't really, I don't think you can train for it. The only thing you can train for is getting used to running in the dark. So I think people that run in the dark a lot, they might have a little bit more, more training. But like people that work during the day and have to do their night runs after or before work in the dark. But yeah, for me, I don't need to do that. So I can run during the day. And so I try to get at least one in usually. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, just go there rested. For UTMB, usually I'm not there early. This is the last time I was there a week early, but otherwise I'm usually there. I arrived Wednesday. Thursday, you go pack up, pick up, pick up, and then Friday is a start. And I think I have the benefit I'm not adjusted yet. It's a 9-hour time difference. And that's probably what helps me in the night to keep me awake. And then during the day, you have the sunlight, so you don't really fall asleep. So I never really had problems with that, even though I have to stay awake for 2 nights because I'm too slow for one.
Right. I think after the first race, the first race is always going to be different. So it's 2 more things. So do you like to do, I think you said before, you like to do the first, the inaugural race, right? It's like the first time they're putting on a race.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always
I'd like to see that.
Excited because you never know how they're going to do it. Yeah. You don't know, if you do a race with Kira, it's going to be all excellent, right?
Right.
If you do a race that's new, the race director is new, you don't know. Yeah.
You don't know.
So you have to be prepared so usually I make sure I have a little bit more in my drawbacks, like eating food-wise, like extras, because I don't know what we're going to get, and especially in Europe.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, the Mammoth, the first 200, right? The Mammoth is coming up.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an inaugural.
Yeah,
so we're going to see how that works out.
But yeah, like with Kira's races, you don't even need the drawback, right? I mean, and they have all the food you can dream of. So
yeah, yes. I was so excited that I never even had an opportunity to have a drop bag. So when I did my 50-miler, I had a drop bag, and of course it was filled with 8,000 things. It was, of course, not necessary, but I felt confident that at least I wasn't going to lose the drop bag because it's Kira, right there. It's all pretty organized, pretty organized. Well, this has been so good, Anne. Thank you so much for joining me. And one last thing I want to think about, really, or talk about, and it's about why we run. Tell me, how has the why you run, how has that changed as you've gotten older? Maybe it hasn't changed, but how do you think it's changed?
Yeah, I don't think it has changed. Why do I run? It just came automatically because I like to be outside. I like to be in nature, and you get to more places than when you hike, right? So running, you get to see more, you get to cover more ground, which is now, of course, changing a little bit with aging. But now I get to enjoy it a little more. If I hike more, I actually do see the snakes or other things that I sometimes otherwise, did you see this? Did you see that? No, I didn't see anything because you're just like with your head down. So I see more the slower I am. No, I just like being out there. And then at my age, I feel like if I'm going to stop, that might be then how you're going to start again. So I feel like I have to keep going. I can't stop now. And Like, I want to keep just doing this for as long as I can. It would be great if I can still do 100 miles in my 70s, right? Or 80s. I don't know. Who knows? Because we all get older now. We stay healthier longer. So if you compare to our grandparents who were 60, I mean,
Yes.
they were
yes,
old,
yes.
right? They were old people, and look at us now. So who knows? Yeah. So I still enjoy it so much. I love it. Yeah. I just love being outside by myself. I don't really need anyone. I love having friends with me too, but I just enjoy the outdoors. For me, it's a way to be outdoors.
Right. And when you're running, you're listening to music or with cadence on the treadmill. Do you listen to anything when you're out on the trails?
Mostly not. So on the treadmill, I do it to focus on my cadence. When I do on the road, I will once in a while, but I hardly ever run on the road unless it's raining. The trails, there's a couple like wide fire dirt roads, and if I really want to push like a tempo, like really focus on a good run, I'll get that music going. But it's
So that
like
you have the beats. Okay.
but it's the special music for the beats, exactly. It's just like so I can also focus on my cadence for my turnover. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm so impressed by this. Thank you very much. You're inspiring. I got to get out there and run now. I can tell right now. Got to keep up the cadence. I might want to get a treadmill again. I didn't ever think about using treadmill to build speed, and why I didn't think of that, I'm not sure. I switched out of the treadmill and I got a bike. So now I had the bike, the stationary bike, but it's fine, but I use it only because so I can tell myself, oh, I'm using different muscles. Oh, I'm doing something other than running.
I think it's still good.
So I guess that's good. Okay. And you are fantastic. Congratulations on kissing that rock at Hardrock. Boy, am I glad you're only 61. You got plenty of years in this age group to make new records. And I'll be ready and waiting with you as we turn 70 in what seems like just a couple of minutes, even though we know it's a couple of years.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank
All
you
right.
so
Thanks,
much.
man.
Thank you.
Take care. You're welcome.
Thank
See you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.